Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here for the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your planning outlook video updated on Friday the 17th of March. And it's a rather chilly and unsettled pattern going forwards. We've got a cold air mass that will drift across the country through into next week, and it could well be with us right the way through the week, with freezing levels well down, allowing any precipitation to fall at quite low levels as snow, and that will even start to affect the hills and mountains of Northern England and Wales the further into the new week we go. We'll see some variations then in day-to-day weather patterns, so always keep a close eye on the details. The hints are that by the end of the week we may start to see pressure building, and eventually we see something more settled as we head towards the end of the month. Now, there's plenty more detail in all the written files here on the website for your local areas, but just to set the scene for the weekend, there's that waving frontal feature that's across the country. We've got some persistent falls of rain then for the hills of Wales. That will tend to transfer further northwards, but may just fade with time through the day as that front just eases for a time. There have areas of showers too across the mountains of western and northern Scotland, with eastern Scotland generally best favoured through the day, although for most regions it's a blustery picture and quite a significant wind chill. Stays windy through into Sunday. Again, a westerly flow is with us. We've got a cold front slipping southwards, some heavy persistent falls of rain across southwest Scotland, transferring into northwest England and Wales. That will turn to snow on its back edge across the Highlands, where any showers do follow. Again, quite a noticeable wind chill for all regions. Now, detail becomes a little bit uncertain by Monday. A frontal system moving southeastwards, a wraparound of areas of heavy showers transferring in from the northwest, increasingly falling as snow to low levels, even perhaps onto the mountains of northern England and Wales by this stage, and the risk of some hail and thunder too in the heavier bursts across Scotland in particular. And once again, the risk of strong to gale force winds pretty widely. Now, this is the 850 millibar chart. This is the temperature at around 4,000 to 4,500 feet above sea level at this stage, so corresponding more or less to those highest Scottish Munros. The numbers with the white backgrounds are heights above sea level in decameters, so add a zero, you get the height in meters. This is then through Monday as colder air is just draining in across the country behind that cold front. At this stage then, values -3 to -5 is likely to be the mark on the summit of Ben Nevis, for example. Now, just to run that story on over a few days, this takes us through into Tuesday, and temperatures drop below -5 at that sort of height, so considerably cold air is in place. The freezing level is down to 500 or 600 metres for many of the mountains of northern Britain, even as far down as the Pennines. It may be around 600-700 metres for the hills of North Wales, so any precipitation there is going to be turning increasingly to snow through into midweek. A bit of variation from day to day, and there may be a subtle rise in freezing level during the day, but basically that higher terrain very much remaining frozen below freezing throughout several days ahead in next week. This takes us through into the middle of the week as low pressure broadly parks itself across the country. Towards the end of the week, it stays cold. That flow turns around more towards the north-northeast as the low just drifts away further south, so cold air still very much stays in place across Scotland. A bit of uncertainty on the absolute detail, but it looks as though, again, the freezing levels could be well down to quite low levels at that time. And then we just start to see high pressure building in from the Atlantic further towards the following weekend, and eventually there'll be a rise in temperatures and freezing levels. So just to run through the charts in the middle and later part of the week, again, a lot of uncertainty with absolute details, but Tuesday looks as though a west-southwesterly flow is with us. We'll see showers transferring inland from western coasts, moving further inland as the day goes on. Some of these squally and heavy with some hail and thunder in the mix again, and snow at times to quite low levels, say 500-600 metres, mostly rain in the valleys and the glens, I suspect. Detail rather tricky, but low pressure is parked across the country through Wednesday, a rather unsettled day. There'll be areas of showers moving around slowly, sometimes giving frequent precipitation over a good many hours. Snow coming down to quite low levels, again the risk of hail and some rumbles of thunder given any of the heavier showers. Some inland areas may not do too bad, and locally, if you just get away from those showers, you could find plenty of sunshine comes through during the day, and at least by this stage winds are looking lighter within that broad area of low pressure. Towards the end of the week then, we just saw it on the 850 millibar chart, but the indication is of a more north to northeasterly pattern. Treat the detail with a lot of caution, but just reinforcing that cool pattern with areas of showers, again some of these heavy, coming down to snow to quite low levels, so some further accumulations where these do move inland across the mountains. But it could well be that some central areas away from windward coasts do find a largely dry picture with some sunshine coming through, so again may not be a completely poor picture for everywhere. Now heading towards the end of the week and next weekend, most indications are favouring a build of pressure. The area of low pressure looks like moving away towards France and the western Mediterranean to allow high pressure to build in from the west and the northwest. Now, some uncertainty just exactly where the high becomes centred by this stage, and that will be crucial then as to the exact airflow direction, the wind direction, and therefore cloud amounts as we go further forwards. But all in all, it looks a more settled spell, a quieter spell as we head towards the end of the month, with predominantly dry conditions, some fine days in there, and temperatures just like to lift slowly. We may well find that there's some fairly mild days, but rather chilly nights becomes the theme by that stage. So some overnight frost in the glens and the valleys, it looks likely. Whilst on higher areas, temperatures should lift slowly, but with the fresh snow cover that's in place from what will have fallen during the week ahead, it may well be that higher terrain does stay frozen and the thaw is fairly slow towards the end of the month. So hopefully that's been useful for you. We'll update this video on Tuesday of next week. Thanks for watching and bye for now.